Welcome to the Tapestry of Life. I am Dr. Pascal Scoles, Professor of Behavioral Health and Human Services, and Director of the Office of Collegiate Recovery, Student Life at Community College of Philadelphia. Today's topic is street walking for their addiction. Experts know that a significant link between sex work and drug use, most often the drug choice of heroin or cocaine. The stigma of addiction and sex workers makes it hard for many individuals to seek out treatment or to seek help. I want to welcome my co-host, Sheila Saunders Ford, Community Engagement Coordinator at the Northeast Treatment Centers, and our special guest, Ketsi Pichardo and Aisha Barnett. I hope I got that right.
You did. Definitely did.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is an interesting topic, drug addiction and sex workers. And based on the conversations I've had already with you prior to the show, it should be an interesting discussion. I don't know who wants to start. I'll start by saying that when I worked as a clinical director in the Kensington area, I used to walk through a large group of women of the night, they used to refer to them, and they were earning their dollars and cents most of the evening and into the early morning hours. And I remember trying to get some of them to come into the clinic and talk. And at that time, the drug of choice actually was heroin and cocaine. So I don't know where you want to start.
Right. Well, you know, when you're in your addiction, you don't start off as streetwalkers. Mm-hmm. So if you can just give us a background of how you got to the point that you are now, streetwalking and now into recovery, that would help us understand where we actually originated from.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Well, for me, I started at the age of 23. I was in an abusive relationship. I kind of got involved, had children with a drug dealer.
Okay.
The fame, the glory, the money, everything. I thought I was in love. I was more of a tester. When I say tester is that, babe, try this. Mm-hmm. You know, see how this feels, right. How this works. Me, curiosity killed the cat, and I experienced something that it just drove me to a point that when he didn't have it at home, I had to go outside and seek it.
And what was it that he didn't have?
Cocaine.
Oh, cocaine, yes.
Yeah, I learned how to cook. I learned everything I needed to do to progress
learned how
myself.
to cook the cocaine.
Yes. I also was good at it, actually, you know, and it ran me out my home. You know, it started at the home, and it winded up being outside in the street. So I looked for people that I knew that I can get it from, which were men. I never was into the women, but I manipulated a lot. You know, my drug use really had got me out there. I would sometimes stay out and not come home. You know, it was fun for me outside. Why?
It was exciting.
It was easier.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved cocaine.
What part of the city were you
I would put it out there as Hunting Park area, Erie Avenue.
Okay.
All my addiction was around there.
Oh,
I was so comfortable with it. I manipulated a lot in my life. You know what I mean? I can talk about it today. You know what I mean? I wasn't proud of the things that I have done. But the cocaine was my best friend.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Yeah, at some point, our secrets keep us sick. And if you don't give exposure to it, then you can never heal from it. So when you're out there, what are your thoughts? Are you terrified? Are you thinking you're going to get robbed? Are you going to be hurt out here? All you thought about was what? Getting the next fix or?
When you're out there and you're an active user, you don't get scared. You want that drug.
Right.
For me, I wasn't worrying about the men that I'd hurted, who I took from, not even my safety or my life. You want that numbness, you want that drug. Right. For me, I enjoyed sucking on that glass.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And I didn't care the consequences that came.
Explain to the audience, because some of them maybe are not close to the addiction, what do you mean by sucking on that glass?
My crack pipe was
Okay.
my best friend. I carried it every day. It was more carrying like a toothbrush, if you know what I'm saying. Keep it in your pocket. You know, the crack cocaine is very, very a big drug for me. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that carrying that pipe for me was like my lipstick in your purse. You know, I had my lighters with me, like my eyeshadow. I can say today that I'm happy for myself being today clean today because I can talk and help people that don't understand that life. You know, I mean, I cried myself a lot. I couldn't get myself to talk about it, and I'm sharing it because I want the women out there to know it's hard. It's hard, but you can do this. You can do this. You can talk about it. Don't be scared. I'm no different today. You know what I mean? I'm here sharing my experience that you can do this. You know what I mean? Don't think that you're not self-worth. You know? I'm one of those. I'm in recovery today with 46 days clean, and I'm okay.
Congratulations.
I'm okay.
Great.
And I want you ladies to know, the audience to know that there is someone out there.
So
You
you're
know,
fairly young in your recovery, 46 days.
Listen, I have 46 days, and I don't know this. I'm still in baby steps.
How many times have you tried this recovery thing?
3 times.
Okay.
2 times I was court ordered.
Right.
The last time I couldn't do it myself, and I dropped down on my knees and asked God to help me. And then, you know, there's people out there, when a door closes, there's a lot of them, they're open.
Speaking of being open, you're now telling your story to the public. Was your family aware of your behaviors or your activities?
I hid a lot.
So would this be their first time hearing your story?
Actually, the truth story?
Right.
Yes.
I commend you.
Yes, because I sugarcoated a lot of my behaviors
Okay.
and my actions. And I'm proud of myself today, that I can really, really talk about myself today.
And you'll be helping a lot of people.
And that's why I'm here today.
Yeah. Does any of this make sense to you?
Well, yeah, a lot of it makes sense to me. I'm actually 36 now, but I started at the age of 17. It was a girlfriend. She taught me, like she said, we can make money like that. So I went for it and stuff like that. And it's funny because from the age of 19, I had this one individual that I had till I was 35 years old, and I just stopped doing it. So, you know,
Yeah. You've been clean for how long now?
I don't really know, probably like a little over a month.
Oh, okay. So you're fairly early.
Congratulations.
You're
too.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, fresh.
Wow. So when you say your girlfriend, a girlfriend,
A girlfriend.
is this someone you were in a relationship with or
No,
just
not
a
even.
friend
It was a friend.
that
Someone,
exposed you to this?
yeah, I was actually working at a pizza store, and that was like my second job. And she was, you know, a cashier. We both were cashiers, and she was doing it, and one night I did it with her, and was doing it ever since. And which is funny is that the last time I did it, I was 35 years old. I had a customer from 19 to the age of 35, and my a girlfriend, someone I was in a relationship with, she found out, and she stopped that relationship with me and the guy. So.
So was that easy for you to do if you're in a relationship with a woman, which means you're gay?
Which people wouldn't understand because
Help us to understand, because I'm trying to understand.
basically it was just business.
Okay.
It wasn't personal. You know, that was my 4th relationship. So meaning I was in a relationship with women and they didn't even know what I was doing. But she brought it, you know, she brought it out of me. She was like, I guess, the smartest one.
You know, both of you are which I didn't realize when we spoke earlier, both of you are fairly early in your recovery. And, you know, this is a general issue. The relapse rates are fairly high for people in early recovery. I'm not saying that that's going to happen with both of you, but I assume, do you have a large support network, or do you have sponsors, or
I want to say for
participate in any
myself,
of that?
I am slow, very slow in this process. Why? The meetings. It has made me know some parts of myself. If you don't make meetings, you're not going to make it. If you have to trust somebody in these rooms, not necessarily you're going to go into a meeting and say, oh, I'm recovered. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes time. It takes time sharing. Not everybody's open today with themselves. Like for me, I started going into meetings. I couldn't like this person. I didn't like that person because of my behaviors. I didn't give this recovery a chance. We all quick enough to do the fuckets. Sorry for saying that, but it's the truth. I had to believe in somebody. Everybody's stories are different. Confiding in someone, hearing the
Everybody's
message.
stories are different, but they're actually the same.
Yes.
They're all different,
And
but
we-
they're
True,
actually pretty
true.
much
We
the
all
same.
junkies.
Right.
We're all
Yeah.
addicts.
It's
And
true.
we end up here on Tapestry of Life,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, I just want to say that for me, I had to do a lot of meetings for me. The same way we was chasing that drug, I had to make meetings for me, and I still do today. Morning, noon, and night. And I got me a home group that I was comfortable in because they allowed me to share me, my story, you know? And I'm proud of myself today because I can say that I'm not faking to make nothing today. This is my life. I want to live. And I want to help people that don't understand it. Like myself, I don't understand everything. Nobody comes with an open book. Nobody comes with instructions today. I just want, you know, people out there to not be scared to, even if you think you don't make sense, you do make sense. Because I know sometimes I think I don't make sense. But I make sense that I know that I can do this. And I want to take it one day at a time.
Yeah. Do you go to meetings? No.
Meetings
Doesn't sound
come.
like
I
it.
live in a recovery house, so
Okay.
we get meetings that come to
At-
us.
at the
AA
facility.
meetings.
Well, just as a general rule, I think everyone here is in recovery, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
So
we are.
Yes, we are.
it's,
Yes, we are.
I think what's important to realize is that probably for 2 to 5 years, you have to stay pretty close to your like home group, if you don't have one or if you have one, because it's a very bumpy road for a few years, and the relapse rates are significantly high in the first 2 years. So you always want to be able to kind of fall back on a group of people that have a different sense of understanding
I
of
want
what
to
the
say
world's like.
the support groups comes from another recovering addict.
Absolutely.
They can have at least 24 hours or less, and you can still learn from that person today.
Right. But you know, early in recovery, it's always imperative that you gravitate to an intensive outpatient program.
The AOPs.
And that's what gets you started to maintaining your sobriety.
yes,
What are you ladies doing for your outpatient? Are you attending outpatient? If so, how is it working for you?
that is so
Is
true.
that giving you the support? These are questions. Are they giving you the support that's needed to kind of galvanize this recovery piece?
You want to answer that?
100%.
What are you doing for your outpatient? Where are you attending?
I actually go to the net on Spring Garden. I go there 3 days out of a week.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, the facilitator is great. The group is great.
Absolutely.
We're actually group members, me and her.
We're sisters, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a bond. Like for me, the person that I don't trust a lot of women today, but I do today. I could say, you know what I mean? That are clean. I don't have clean friends, I don't. Some of them that are still inactive users. You know, I don't trust them because I don't trust myself in that.
Sure.
But I could say that me and Aisha and some of the ladies in the net, I also belong into the net, and I love them today. I wouldn't change it for nothing.
So are you able to identify with the group members as far as street walking for addiction? Are the stories similar? Can you identify with any of those stories?
Yes.
That help you have that aha moment?
Yes.
Plenty of times.
You know what I wanted to ask, to digress a moment, and to, I think the audience, some of the audience has no familiarity with what it means to be a street person and walk and earning a living that way. Do you, either one of you, feel comfortable in talking about what a typical day was like?
I
And
can
what-
say that.
and-
For me, like I said, I started at the home and I wind it up outside. Outside is selling yourself, selling your body.
Well, how would you do that? Just out of curiosity.
I would say walking up and down Hunting Park,
Okay.
flashing myself.
Oh, all right.
I'm a petite person, but I'm a breasted person, and big butt and a smile. My opinion was big breast and a smile. You know, I would use what I got to get what I want.
Would you go over to the car or walk
Actually,
with
I
people
would.
on the street?
They would
or-
stop me.
Oh, okay.
You know, I don't consider myself pretty, but my ways of my facial experiences and my body, my textures, and well, how you
okay.
doing? What's going
So
on?
you had to be kind of outgoing and move.
I will wheel them in.
Oh,
I will
okay.
give them what they want to hear. I will give them what they want to see.
What was your attire?
What you mean my attire?
Would you
What
wear?
did you What did you wear?
Oh, I'll tell
Was-
you right now, spaghetti shirts,
Oh.
little bootylicious. You know what I mean? I was sometimes maybe just a bra that looked like a top.
Okay.
You know, little skimpy skirts or little shorts. Maybe sometimes no bra at all. Netted shirt. Let the nipples show. You know what I'm saying? Shake them like they gave me. You know, stuff like that. You know, when you're out there walking the streets, you're actually selling yourself
Okay.
Right.
completely.
Right.
So, you know, you want that dollar. You know what I mean? I wasn't happy at that time, but deep down I wanted that money.
So for the average person, I would be able to drive by and say, "Wait a minute, she's a streetwalker." Was it that obvious?
Yes.
In the way you dressed?
Yeah, and
Yes.
how and the way you
Yes.
dress. So like how? Because I mean,
Yes.
So, what do? You just ask them for the money, or how would you
Actually,
do that?
no.
I'm
Go
just
ahead,
curious.
Aisha.
I mean, for
Go ahead,
Well,
answer
for
that.
me, it was different. I was dressing like a girl. I was 17, so I dressed different. When I would regularly walk down the street, I could see people already looking at me.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I'll just, if they looking, and I will look back, they will slow down driving.
Oh, okay.
And then
That too.
I would like basically tell them where to park, like tell them to come over, you know, go park over there or something. And then we would discuss, you know, they say, "Hey, what you doing?" I say, "What you paying?"
Oh,
You
okay.
know?
Oh, because you're
Straightforward,
soft-spoken. You're
straightforward,
soft.
yes.
Yeah, because I already knew what they want.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So just to kill time. I mean, like you get straight to the point. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Well, for me, I manipulated that way myself, and I would do abandoned houses, not worrying about all the extra stuff that comes in that abandoned houses. They're back at the seat of their car. Like I said, I'm at the Honey Park area.
Right.
I would not say I was stuck there because they usually take me to their homes.
Oh, really?
You don't know what comes with that because you're not thinking about none of that. You're street walking. You're using your body for these things. You know, you don't know if this man can strap you down or nothing. We don't think stuff like that today. Today I can realize that I'm so glad and blessed that nothing has happened to me dangerously. There's women out there that, you know, I can't speak for themselves, but not all of them make it out the car. They find you 2-3 days later.
Well, you know, when some of the streetwalkers in Kensington area used to come into the clinic because they wanted to, you know, kind of get cleaned up. And the stories that they told mimic this, but they also tell stories about being beaten
Yes.
and punched
Yes.
and assaulted and not paid.
Wow.
That's true too. I tell you that I had a situation like that, and for the blessing grace of God, that I had someone that wanted me for them, and I wasn't there for that. I wanted my money. You know, just tell me what you want me to be, you know, to do, and I would just be like real, you know, small. I was petite, you know, more skinny than I am today, and he swung, gave me a big ass black eye, and he kind of, you know, raped me. I never told nobody that.
Well,
And
you
I'm
know,
sharing it with the world today.
Well, it's interesting because when you think of streetwalkers or however you like to conceptualize it, you don't think that they can be molested or raped. But
Oh,
I used to
yes.
hear that story a lot,
Oh,
actually,
yes.
that they were abused and then,
So was that your worst situation on the street? What is the
Absolutely.
worst day on the street
That was the first time and the last time.
and the last time? Aisha, what was your worst day or event on the street?
You know, with the grace of God, I've never been abused, and I've never been raped. I've only been, the money was taken back.
Oh,
you know,
okay, they
I
took
take
the
my
money.
clothes off. I'll get the money first, take my clothes off. do what I gotta do, then go to the bathroom. Then when I came back, the money was missing. So I didn't, that was like the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm sorry. And, you know, just through the grace of God, that was the worst thing that ever happened. So I've been like robbed like 2 to 3 times.
I just want to say that when that man did that to me, I was young myself. I was early as a junkie. Like I said, I experienced it at the home. When we out there selling ourselves because we need that one more, you have to go through a point in time that you just like, it should have stopped me from using drugs at that time.
Yes.
You would think that would stop you. But it got me to get worse into my addiction, if you know what I mean, Miss Sheila. And I can't believe that I made it this far to actually, you know, I'm trying to let women know that it's very dangerous out there. It didn't stop me. And it don't get you smart out there for the next one, for the next hooking that you do. You know, and I just, you know, I'm just glad today that I was to be able to get it out there because not even my family knew. But I'm okay today to be able to help that ones that are out there that you do have a chance to live your life. And for the blessing of God that I didn't get HIV, I didn't get sick, I didn't get murdered.
Yeah.
I didn't let my family bury me today.
So there comes a time when you're out there, you have a moment of sanity that says, I don't belong here.
Yeah.
I can recall being there. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. Just walking down the street, it was maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, and tears is just rolling down my eyes.
Okay.
I'm not even looking for a car, but I'm out there this time.
That is so true.
My feelings of not belonging here, I needed something better. Lord, help me. Get me off these streets. Now, anyone driving by is not going to stop for a woman that's crying.
True.
What was your end that said, this has to stop? I need help.
For me, I was still dramatized with those issues that I was having, being out there. That a couple of them, I myself jumped out of the car.
Oh, okay.
So I already knew I couldn't do it. When you get sick and tired of that, I believe for me that I was still with that issue from the kid's father that drove me to do those things that I just couldn't do it no more.
How did he drive you to do those things? What happened?
When I jumped out of a car, I kind of like surrendered myself with that. But don't think that I got clean then, because I relapsed also.
Okay.
You know, my mindset wasn't for that. You know, you don't, how can I say this? You don't know when you hit rock bottom till you hit rock bottom. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, it
sure,
makes a
makes
lot
sense.
of sense.
You know, there's a lot of people think that they're not going to get this, because
Right.
I was one of them. You don't get it there. You know, there's a couple of times that I've relapsed. Like I said, I was court-ordered to, you know, be clean. But this time around, for me, I'm not going back into that lifestyle. I value myself today, you know,
Right.
I do. And, you know, I'm not going to say I'm a professional in getting myself clean today, but I'm taking it very slow, and I have good women, powerful women that has more clean time than me, that I want what they want. I want my self-esteem to be okay.
Okay, Aisha, I see that you're becoming overwhelmed. What was your worst day out on the street? What was the moment that said, this has to stop, I deserve better, I want better?
I'm
What
gonna be
happened?
honest, it didn't really stop. I still had that one customer from the age of 19 to the age of 35. I always did it when I needed money, but I never wanted to do it. Like, so when my ex-girlfriend found out that I was doing it, and she told him, "Don't ever call me again," I felt like I was saved, like I was, you know, free. She had the voice to free me. You know, it's very embarrassing. She called my brother and she said, "Yeah, Aisha is out there tricking, letting the man touch on her and stuff like that." And my brother was like, "Well, we all have tricked sometime in our life, you know?" So it's just, it's true. That's what I've done. But it's just weird how I was able to do it till just last year, you know? But I don't think about anything but the money.
Was there ever, like some people talk about the reason why they got into a certain situation was there was a trauma like that occurred in their life. Do you reflect on your life experience based on any traumatic experience that happened to you? Or do you just say, well, it was a way of making money and, you know, or whatever? I mean, I just kind of...
Well, ever since I was a child, men always like try to get sex from me.
Were drawn to you.
I don't know if you want to call it drawn. I don't know if you want to call it being perverted. I don't know. It's been in the family. Older guys. I'm like 11 years old. So I just knew.
And what would happen when you were 11, if you don't mind sharing that?
Well, that's not the first time I was molested, but that's the first time somebody went to jail for molesting me.
Okay.
How
early do you remember?
Had to be in Pampers every
Really?
Yeah, sitting on, like they would have me sitting on a lap. Just weird stuff.
So you remember way back to odd things happening that really were very traumatic for you and existed most through your, I guess, early years and into... Like the last time somebody touched me, I was 16. And it was like a best friend of mine. But I just know that's what men want. So why not charge them for it? You know? When you became a little older, you mean.
Yeah.
So she learned at an early age.
When you think about earlier, what was running through your mind?
God only knows. Like, I even asked, I prayed on his name to please let it stop. But, you know.
I want to say for me, I had a good home. You know, my mom was in and out. I mean, she was young, too, when she had me, at the age of 16, just to go back there. I was active. You know, I got pregnant at 16, you know, and I guess sex was fun for me, too. So, you know, my trauma came about when I picked the first guy that I thought I fell in love with. You know, because I have 4 baby daddies today. And they really taught me a lot. I've been abused since I was 16, through my first baby daddy. So I thought it was natural for me. He also beat me and raped me. And I've had...
When you were 16?
Yeah.
But do you reflect on the similar history in the sense of going back into being 8, 10, or however?
I can't tell you. I'll be lying to you. I can't remember much when I was young, but I know we were brought up in Pentecostal church.
Okay.
My mom was a Christian woman, you know, and she left us with our great aunt. That's when my behavior started. So it's like the abandonment issues was there. Also with the abuse all through my life was with the wrong men. So I guess I kind of attracted to that. Oh, maybe, let me rephrase that. Maybe that's all I knew.
Yes.
The battered, the abandonment, that it's okay to get beat up.
Right.
But after a while, you get strong and you get over that, you know? But I'm not gonna say it took me a while to really actually talk. Because, you know, nobody wants to get beat up.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to sell themselves. But that drug is no joke. You do what you gotta do for all means necessary to get it.
Yeah, but see, if we think of your experience, it's significant enough, the trauma, that it's something that I would strongly suggest you go into some outpatient program and talk to a counselor or a therapist, because we got to work through that trauma for you to heal on the other side.
Right.
And it's very painful to do, and it's more of a thought now, but it's something you need to consider. You can see the pain in your face when you talk about it. You know?
Can I share something?
Yeah.
So, I had said my ex-girlfriend had found out because it was one day we were down up at Darby 69th Street and she was trying to pawn a laptop and she only got $40 for it. So I was like, well, let me call a certain individual. And she was like, cool, I'll come with you. And then I kind of hesitated. So she knew something was up. So I finally came to and told her, yeah, I'm not, I used to tell her that I had to detail a car with this certain individual. And I told her, well, I'm not detailing cars, I'm having sex for money. And then like 15 minutes later, one of the person that used to sexually molest me, me and her was on a train, and I was talking to her about it, and then the guy in front of us happened to be the person that was molesting me when I was younger. So that was just like crazy.
Sure.
Traumatizing again. Re-traumatization
Yes.
is what it is. So with that experience of childhood and childhood trauma, did that influence your sexuality today? Or have you ever thought about it?
No, I've always been this way for me.
Okay.
That just made me just don't trust guys, you know? Like, the only real man that never did anything to me was my father. But when I slept in the bed with him, I was so scared. But I was so happy that he never tried anything with me.
Someone you can trust.
Yeah, I was, you wouldn't believe how scared I was, but just because of like all the men in my life, you know?
Right.
But he didn't touch me, so I was happy.
Aisha, I'm so proud of you.
So am
This
I.
is like a breakthrough.
Me
So
too.
what we do once we leave here, we go back to Northeast Treatment, where we have counselors on staff. So we just don't open up a can of worms
Yeah.
and leave
Yeah, it
you.
is something you have to
We give you something to follow up
kind
with.
of follow up
That's
with
right.
and
Absolutely.
work on.
I love the net. I do.
And you'll get through it. I mean, many of us have gone through those traumas. But see, the problem with, part of the problem with trauma is that if you let it sit there, it just festers and it almost becomes like a flame. And you really are constantly fighting the flame and not fighting the resolution
Right.
of it. So it is something that you need to focus on. And in many ways, if you think of trauma as a part of comorbidity, you know, like both the mental health and the addiction stuff, that really your survival is not just a recovery from the addiction, but a recovery from the trauma. So, you know.
And adding exposure, adding that
Yeah,
light
that would
helps
help.
heal those wounds. So not only are you able to start dealing with your situation, there's others that can adapt and say, wait a minute, that sounds like my story.
Yeah.
So you're helping so many other people.
Yeah, and you'll get through it.
Yes.
You'll get through it. It might take quite a while, like a couple of years, but you'll get through it.
I just want to say that I need Aisha like Aisha need me. And, you know, there's always going to be some bumpy roads there. And I just want to say that for me, that I'm just so glad that I fit in where I'm at the net. And those girls in there, their stories are, like you said, we all have trauma. Right. That doesn't change. It's just a different type of story. But, and we all in recovery and addiction, so we can depend on those people. Well, for me, I could depend on those girls today.
So is it a different group at the net? Are you female, male, or is it all female group?
Well, for me, I took the female group because
Okay, for female issues.
I'm comfortable with it.
Is there a trauma-informed group at the net?
They do have one.
Well, see,
they
that's
do have
something-
one. Yes, they do.
That something might be helpful.
Yes, they do. They do.
Yes.
They have classes there. For men too. For men too. There's men and women in groups. So I just like the small group for me.
See, if you look at it like an iceberg, see what you're talking about right now is really just you're looking at it and you say, well, that's my problem. But really, when you go underwater,
Yes.
it's like so deep and so elaborate that you have to go under there
Yeah.
and work on it in order to really clear what's called the iceberg on top.
Yes.
And it's something that takes a lot of time and
takes
a lot of effort. But you could do it.
Yeah, just gotta, talk about it. And that's why I'm here today.
Yeah. Well, it's a good start being here.
That's brave being here.
Very
But
brave.
the road
Yes, it is.
to trauma recovery, if you want to look at it that way, you got to get on it, and you're kind of leaning in that direction, and you want to go in that direction, and I think it's real helpful. And in the end, you'll feel a whole lot better about it too.
Hopefully, right?
No, you will.
Oh,
I'm telling
yes.
you. Believe me. You don't realize it's like a weight And you take 2 steps, and when you really could take 6 if you didn't have that weight on you.
Right.
It's a heavy weight.
It's heavy.
And it has nothing necessarily, some people believe that the addiction is precipitated because of the trauma. In other words, the way you dealt with the world and the way you blocked it out or dealt with it was to I'll just get high, or I'll just go prostitute myself. That's an easier way than to go and deal with the much more serious
I just want to say, for those that are out there, man, just give yourself a chance. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I know for me that I am not proud of myself for being out there soliciting myself, manipulating. That drug is no joke. Nobody's going to downgrade you, and if they do, well, that's their stuff. You know what I mean? There's people out here that's willing to listen and really care about you.
And also, you're both very early in your recovery. So when it gets really, really, really nuts, just go to sleep. Because the next day, I mean this. I often say to people, go to bed.
Go to bed.
Because
Yes.
when you wake up the next day, it's not the same as it was. It doesn't
It's a fresh start.
travel into the next.
No, it's
it
not.
might come
It's
again,
true.
but it'll dissipate. Because what happens when you're living it in that day, you say to yourself, well, oh shit. This is going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and you just think it's never going to end.
Right.
No, go to sleep.
Go to sleep. You're projecting.
Yeah,
Once you
yeah,
stop projecting, you have
and
a
you'll
chance.
wake up the next morning and you start over again. It's a little bit like the old story when we say, take it a day at a time. We
Right,
often say about
right.
taking it a day at a time.
And you're in an awesome place. Not only do you have the women's group as support, but you have a doctor on site
Yes,
that
you do.
can actually take time to speak with on a deeper level. And if there's medication that's needed, don't be ashamed. We took the drugs on the street. So if there are psychotropic meds that will stabilize your thoughts, you're able to utilize that at the net.
Yeah, sometimes meds are an adjunct like this. It's so stressful, and I can't really deal with it.
Right.
But if I have some medication, it'll smooth my transition to
Yes.
get in to talk about it.
I agree.
I'm not talking about addictive medication. I'm just talking about softening the movement. Not that you're going to be on medication for the rest of
Right.
your life, et cetera, et cetera. Some people are, and that's
true.
because of the nature of the disorder that they have. But if you have the capability, to get an evaluation from the psychiatrist and explain your story to them, this is a good thing.
Yes, it
This
is.
is a good thing.
I agree.
When I started my recovery, I was in therapy for about 2 years. Because, in the field we call it stinking thinking. I don't know if you remember that concept.
That's
It's an old concept.
It's still there.
It's still
It's
around?
still prevalent,
You
yes.
have this stupid stinking
Yeah.
thinking. And, we always say, no, that's not the way it goes.
Yeah.
It goes this way.
Right.
But in reality, it's only because I've been talking to other stupid people that I got this in my brain. It's the truth. You
Yeah.
think about it. Yeah. I still occasionally run into people on the street, and they'll say, "Hey, what you doing?" They still think, I'm doing drugs or something.
You're there.
I haven't seen them for 30 years, but they still think it. And they say, "Yeah," and they're high as hell. And I say, "Well, what are you doing with yourself?" And say, "I'm just living from day to day." I said, "Well, you're still getting high." "Yo, yeah."
Yeah.
So you have an opportunity to break that.
Yeah.
And you have. The fear that early recovery is, you have to make sure you surround yourself with people
Yes.
that are in the same place. Because what will happen, it's very easy to trip and
Yes, it is.
fall.
Yes, it is.
Because, for example, you could put me in a room with all kinds of junkies now. They wouldn't bother me at all.
Right.
But if I stuck you with a month and a half in a room, you would say, maybe I could.
You go to what's
Maybe I
easiest
could
and what's
try
comfortable.
that, and maybe
That's right.
not.
Right.
And what was wrong with that anyway? I mean, you get into this convoluted thinking.
Like I said, you have to remove yourself from the negativity people, because if you surround yourself with negativity stuff, you're going to get
Yeah.
the negativity results. So for me, like I said, I don't have clean friends. When I got into the net, I thought, I was like, oh, this shit's going to be like, nobody want to sit in a classroom full of women or men And, you know, these people ain't going to know what I'm feeling, but in reality,
They do.
they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They definitely do.
They do.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk goals before we close out. Goals, short-term goals. What are our short-term goals? What's going to keep you in the recovery? What are you looking forward? What's reachable for you?
Well, first of all, I need to attend meetings. Meetings is
Okay.
good, you know. Meeting makers make it. But
Amen.
I don't have my GED, so I would love to get that.
See, we can help you with that here at the college.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So you got to get back after the show. You have to just connect with me, and I'll connect you to one of our mentors.
Yes.
And you can then easily walk along that avenue and get your GED and get, because to be honest with you, if you don't change your style, you're going to be always vulnerable to that fall.
Stumble
So
back.
getting your high school diploma, getting a college degree,
Yes.
all adds to your self-esteem. So
Absolutely.
we can help. That's not an issue at all. Believe me, as long as you keep showing up,
Yes.
we'll get you there.
Absolutely. And that'll
Yeah.
keep us off the streets, all right?
Yes.
Street
that's
walking.
right. And you'll meet people that are, you know, in the right space.
Sound
you
like
know,
a
they're in
plan.
recovery and they're doing, you know, good things about their life, and
Yeah, because
that would be helpful.
I don't think where it's about where you come from. It's just about where you go.
That's right.
So
That's very true.
Well, for me, my goal is I want to become a better person for me, and help people, you know, who's going through the stuff with me, maybe with the trauma. If I face my fears, I'll be okay. You know, I'm facing them now slowly. You know, I want to give back to those that helped me, because for real, I can't do it by myself. You know, and the net done showed me that. I've been in and out of these rooms, and I'm tired. You know, I feel like I got lots to give. You know?
Well, you do. You have a lot to give.
Yes, I do.
And she gave so much today.
Just want to thank both of you for having us both here, because I was so nervous, but I'm okay. You know, I hope my story helped those out there.
Well, we're going to continue talking a little while longer about your story. We're not going to let you off that easy now.
Okay.
but
Do you? In the little conversation I've had with you, I know that you're originally you're a Spanish background. You know.
Yeah,
Puerto Rican.
I'm Puerto Rican.
Do
I was
you-
born
do-
in New York.
Do you interact with the Puerto Rican community? or-
Well, I interact with all types of people.
Oh, okay.
I don't deny my neighborhood. You know, I come from Hunting Park, and
Because there's a whole cultural set
everything.
in recovery.
A little bit of everything. Yes.
In that community,
Yes.
and they have, you know, and what they try to do is connect the cultural experiences of, you know, being from Puerto Rico, et cetera, and the experiences of being in recovery, which at times, because of the cultural heritage that you share with them, can be a blessing.
Yes, it
in
can be.
the sense that
Well,
you make a common connection. you know.
we do.
Absolutely.
We
African
do.
American story is the same, you know.
There's such a barrier. We have so many coming over from Puerto Rico, and the language tends to be a barrier here. So
That's true.
you can be a great asset, but number one, you need to stay the course.
I would like that too here.
Well, being bilingual, as I know you are, we're always, you know, in need of people who can, you know, talk the talk and talk it in different languages.
Nice.
That'd be very good.
That's very.
Put me
you
in
know,
the right
very
door, I'm there.
So that's another short-term goal.
That is.
Yeah,
Yes, it
that's
is.
reachable for long-term.
Yeah, that is. That is.
So, do you have? What we notice over the years with people who come out of their addiction is that they've destroyed so many roads, like with their children and their parents, and they sometimes they get back together, and sometimes I've noticed in counseling and therapy, I've said to them, well, it's just not going to happen. You did so much damage that you can keep trying and trying, and hopefully it might
I
come
finished.
around. But I'm wondering, in relation to your families, do you?
well, I have like 7 brothers and 3 sisters.
Oh.
I lost my mom in 2003. They knew me as a drunk crackhead. I would love for us to develop a relationship, but we don't really have one right now. And I
Are you
think
the middle child, the
I'm
oldest, the
actually
youngest?
the second oldest.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I would love a relationship with them, but right now I can't focus on that. I just have to focus on being a better person, and I'm quite sure that'll come along the way. Not my will, God's will. Let it be done.
Yes.
For me, I'm the oldest daughter. I have three sisters and 2 brothers. And I'm the crazy one. When I say the crazy one, the active one. They know that I do the drugs that I do. They don't downgrade me. They just be like, don't you get sick and tired? You know, I know that they're not embarrassed of me today, but nobody want to invite me sometimes over because of my actions and stuff, you know? I come in the room and they be like, oh, you gotta watch this one or something. I don't have that problem with my family. I love my family to death, and I know they love me. I just didn't give myself that chance. You know what I mean? I ran away from them. I didn't want to hurt them in that way. Telling them my story today is a big step for me. They didn't know my skeletons in my closet. My mom, you know, she can go to... She's still there in some ways that, you know, that's another thing, too, that they're not going to forgive me that quick. What I'm saying is they still doubt me to this day, and it's okay. You know, it gets me stronger, though. You know, they have to see the changes that have come later on, and it's okay. It bothers me. It'll hurt me. I cry. But I know that I've done a lot of damage.
When you cry, are you sharing that crying with other people, like in group?
Aisha could tell you, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I do.
Yeah.
You know, but it helps me.
Yeah.
It helps me. Aisha, no, I'm something else in my groups. You know, I don't get it together quick.
Yeah, but whenever water falls, something grows, right?
Amen.
I like that.
Amen.
So telling your
Amen.
story today, you think that would assist in your family patching things up, help them to understand
Of
your
course.
background,
Of
more
course.
of who you are
Yes.
and where you've been?
Yes.
So there is a greater chance of you kind of developing that rapport with them?
Yes. We used to do a lot of things together. We're all like distance. One's over here, one's over there. I'm back and forth from New York and Philly. My sister in Texas, another one in Allentown. My brother's here in Philly. My other brother's here in Philly. We're not all in one. You
Do
know?
they understand addiction?
Some don't.
Okay.
Some do. You know, it's okay. I mean, I have to worry about for me. You know what I mean? You can't help everybody in the family. Sometimes your family is your downfall. Mother too. Mother too. But my mom was in addiction, so you know, that's a plus for me. You know,
She's in recovery now?
Actually, she's been clean on her own. Some people recover differently.
Yeah.
Some people
well,
don't
there are
need
many
treatment.
paths to recovery.
Many paths of recovery, that's right. My mom is my biggest supporter today. And I love her today, you know.
We're about to cry, it looks like.
Yeah, because they're happy tears, you know. I'm just grateful that, you know, not everybody's shutting up me out in their life and my family. We're gonna have some people in our life that will hurt us, and it's okay. But I'm crying today because, you know, I'm okay. I'm strong enough to say that I gotta leave them people where they at. Like I said, I don't have clean people or clean people in my family. But those that I do, I take for granted. Like, you know,
Sure.
I haven't burned bridges today. I haven't
Well,
burned
you know, the
bridges.
interesting thing about burning a bridge is you can build the bridge, too.
We can build them bridges
So
too,
you
yeah.
can kind of come back from it. But there is a lot to be said about the destructiveness of addiction to the family. And although I know you take it personal and I take it, we all take it personal, like it's us that created all of this thing.
We did.
And we did, but addiction's that way.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes you'll never, ever be able to build the bridge, but you should never stop trying. I mean, it's important that you keep trying because you really, if you have 6 or 7 family members, even if you got to break through with 2 or 3 of
Yes.
them, that's more than you had before.
That's true.
And
That
you
is
know,
so true.
and you should feel blessed with that.
Yeah.
I am. And I am grateful for everything I have today. I was telling Miss Sheila, I know I only got 46 days, but I got all these blessings coming my way. And I'm scared, but not in a bad scare. Like, I've never had it like that before.
Yeah.
That's why I'm crying. Like, I feel so good that I'm given this time that I can say that I don't got the courts there telling me to stay clean or maintain clean. I know today that I'm in the right path.
Yes.
But I'm scared that these blessings are really good and I don't know how to handle it.
If I could shed some thought on that. See, what happens is you're so used to doing a certain thing for such a long period of time that when you turn it, you only have a short time in it. So you say, well, gee, I mean, it's just not a lot of
it's not
time,
gonna
you
last,
know?
yeah.
And that behavior needs to get longevity. That's why the relapses are so high with people early in recovery. But one of the ways to get that solidified is to make sure you're doing things that would enhance your life. And I keep going back to this maybe because of my background in education, I don't know. But
Can't be
you have to
comfortable.
move
Can't be
in
comfortable.
a space where you get things done that make you feel better so that when you die, they will say, he or she was a junkie, but they have a bachelor's degree and they've been working for the last 20 years in their recovery. I mean, these are important things, actually, even if it's just for your recognition.
That's why it's important to have that support group.
Yeah.
People that are in recovery, that knows, that walk and talk. You know, there's a lot of people out there that say that they could do this on their own. Maybe they can. But for me, I can't
Believe
do
me,
it
no
alone.
one can do it on their own.
know that's
I
right.
believe
I
that. I
know
mean, I
that's
might be
right.
wrong, but everyone needs support.
There is
Yeah,
not a
something or
structure-
someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's not a functional addict. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I don't believe that exists.
I don't
If you're
either.
not, I don't.
I
think
really
it
don't
exists.
either. I am with Miss Sheila.
But always stay with positive
Well,
reinforcement.
Well, remember what
Positive
they say, you
reinforcement,
know,
that is a
they
plus.
talk about the four corners of addiction. They talk about being in denial, which you're not, then projecting everything outside of you, then rationalizing when it doesn't go your way, and if all that doesn't work,
acceptance.
you might as well just act out and fall back to where everyone knew you were anyway, and then you can start all over again. And
the-
next thing you know, you're 50.
What's
and
that
then you're
word
60.
when you say the powerlessness, the willingness, and the honesty? What is it?
I'm
There's the
not
three
sure.
steps that we be talking at the net. You have to be willing to change.
Honest.
You have to be honest with yourself. And the other one, what was it? I think it's the powerlessness. You have, you know, the surrender too. You have to surrender.
Right.
Because if you don't surrender, you go back there.
Yes.
I'm talking about give yourself to. That's another thing too. Not everybody surrenders to that God. Everybody has their own, you know,
Higher power.
higher
whatever
power.
it is.
That's
Mhm.
what it is.
Whatever it
you
is.
hold on to that.
Right.
I know for
Something-
me, I believe in God.
Something stronger than
Well,
yourself.
Something stronger than yourself. That's
Yes.
right.
Yes, and that could be a spiritual presence.
That's a
and, you
spiritual
know,
awakening.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it was.
It could be any of those
It could be
things.
a stump of a tree. Whatever you
Yes.
believe in that has
Yes.
more power than yourself, that's what you hold on to.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
I'm glad I was here today.
And eventually you'll realize that you're the power that you need to be.
Yes.
But that takes time.
I believe
It
you don't
takes
pick it
time.
up, you don't use. Don't pick it up.
Well, I'll say, this is going to sound odd when I say this. Yeah, don't pick up, but if you do, make sure that you stop. People
I'm not perfect.
relapse and they say, well,
We're not
that's it, it's
perfect
all
people.
over. But the
Yeah.
reality of life is
We're not
what I'm saying to
perfect
you, that
people.
make sure that when you fall, you realize you have legs and you stand up again.
That's right.
That's it.
And
You dust yourself
eventually,
off like
you
I
know,
did.
you
Yes,
get
I did it
you get
3 times.
going, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Again.
People out there with 4, 5, 6 times.
Yeah.
Just dust yourself off. You're here for a reason. God ain't take you here.
Yep, as long as you breathing, you achieving, right?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Then
right.
you'll always have this tape to look back on and refer to where you were early in recovery.
That's
So
right.
let's use it.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other thing I often say is that if you keep falling, well, then maybe we need some crutches for you to keep walking.
Exactly.
You need more support. In other words, if you keep
Yes.
going down,
Yeah.
then we need to add something to it. And the fact that you keep falling, you have to do an inventory, you know,
That's
and say,
true. That's
you know,
important too. Yes.
I'm not doing something right because I keep falling.
That is so
that
true.
means
That
you
is
might
a
have
big
to
part
add
too.
like
Yes.
a crutch called, I mean, I don't like to say it this way because I did counseling and therapy, but the crutch might be, oh, I got to get into the long-term outpatient program and do this, or
that's a
I
good
got to
thing.
change
MAT,
this, or I got to do that,
OTP.
or, you know, whatever. But you
Yeah.
can't keep doing the same old, you know, this is going to sound like the old AA
No,
stuff.
it's
here.
true.
You can't keep doing the same old things and expect a
Expecting
different
result.
And that
result.
is so true. I'm
But
an
that's about
example.
life, just
I'm an
general.
I
example.
mean, that's what I learned. I don't know how many times I tried to get clean. The reason why I tried to get clean is because I never stayed clean. But I need to stay clean in order to let life begin.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
And you have to find people that believe what you believe in.
That's true too.
That's real important.
Yes.
And you need to begin to see yourself as having worth in the universe.
Number
Right?
one.
Yeah, you got to
are
believe.
worthy.
Yeah. And me, I maybe because of me, I found it through education. Really, I just kept going and going and going and going and got my doctorate. But I mean, so to me, the place that I believe a lot of people need to travel in their recovery is to get educated, because it enhances not only your perception of where you were,
That is true,
but it
too.
also actually gets you a better job, gets you this, gets you that, gets you this, gets you different things.
And you'll feel so much better, because for me, I feel better. I'm not saying that I know this recovery thing down pat. I don't. But later on, you know, I'm gonna look back and I'm gonna be like, I've started the steps now by going into the net, by going into the rehabs. Not everybody's suitable, you know, to, anybody can stay clean. It's maintaining clean, and that's something I'm still working on.
Well, not only do you have to maintain it, you have to build excellence on it.
Yes,
See,
sir.
people would say, you know, how many times have we run into people that we call, and when I was early, we used to call them dry drunks. They haven't changed at all.
Right.
They're clean,
Yeah.
but they've been clean for like 15, 20 years, but they're still nasty,
Yeah.
they're still
Yeah.
this, they're still that, and
drunk.
they, you know, they're just
But
not.
that comes with us too. With us clean, we still have those behaviors.
Yeah, so
You
we
know?
work on our behaviors, but
Yes.
keep the same energy that you ladies have right now, that thirst for recovery, that thirst for life, you have to maintain and keep on. Just hold on to that energy. And you'll
Principle
get, absolutely.
before personality, right?
Always,
So what?
always.
That's right, girl.
Principles before personalities.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the principle will become the personality.
Sound like a
Ooh,
plan.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what'll happen. Then you'll be what you principle yourself to be. You know,
Absolutely.
and I could still get thrown back in it. How often that you run into people and they say something, you say, well, I could probably work my way right around this thing here and go somewhere else with it, you know? And you say to yourself, but that would be really just another phase of my addiction.
Absolutely.
You know, kind of working its way into reality. And the way you reinforce your reality is to not go that way.
That's right. That is so true. Yes.
Okay.
Well, do you want to make a closing statement? I have about a minute or two. I mean, do you want to say anything to the audience? Either
close
one of
it
you?
No, you go.
Well, I just want to say for those that are out there struggling, you're not alone. Give yourself a chance, whether it's the net, whether it's Gaudenzio, whether it's Kensington, whatever. Just give yourself a chance, you know. I know you know, you're scared. I was scared. I'm still scared. You know, I just want to say that there's people out here that love us, you know. Nobody want to die. Please just give yourself a chance. You know, there's somebody out there that's willing to listen and help.
Do you want to say a word or two?
Just know if no one loves you, God loves you, and love yourself.
That's right.
Okay, good. Well,
I want to thank both of you for sharing your life stories with us and the public. It's actually given me another day clean. So I want to thank you for that. And for the audience, I want them to know that recovery is possible.
Yes.
okay, good.
Absolutely.
Recovery is possible.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I would like to thank my co-host, Sheila Sanders Ford, and obviously my two very special guests, Ketsi and Aisha, right? I got it. For sharing their life with us. I would also like to thank you, the viewing audience, for tuning in. You have been watching Tapestry of Life, the award-winning educational channel of Community College of Philadelphia. I am Dr. Pascal Scoles, Professor of Behavioral Health and Human Services, and Director of the Office of Collegiate Recovery and Student Life, Community College of Philadelphia. See you next time.